Okay, here's my presentation. Before I start, does anybody know what beautiful mountain this is? Isaac.
Mount Everest.
Yes, that is Mount Everest. So this leads into my research question. Should there be limitations and or restrictions set on who can climb Mount Everest? All right. So a little background information about Mount Everest. Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world, standing at 29,035 feet. It's in the Himalayan mountain range. Everest is right on the border between Nepal and China. So there's different routes to climb Everest between those two countries. People have been climbing Everest ever since the early 1950s, and it takes one about 2 months to climb Everest. And the reason it takes so long to climb Everest mainly because of the acclimation process, which is your body getting used to being at really, really high elevations. Because if you like try and hike up Everest as fast as you can get altitude sickness, which can lead to headaches or just a lack of oxygen and even death. So that's why you just have to take your time, work slowly. And then 5,000 people have successfully summited Everest since the first ascent, and more than 300 people have died trying. And the 2019 season had the most deaths, over 11 people died. So some reasons to set possible limitations on Everest. Because many people want to climb Everest, there's a lot of overcrowding and traffic jams along the routes, and traffic jams are dangerous because you're not moving, you can freeze, you get frostbite, and especially in the very dangerous areas like from base camp to Camp 1, there's this area called the ice fall, which is always shifting. It's very prone to avalanches. There's lots of ladder crossings, and just waiting there and being held up is not a good thing. There's lots of deaths along Everest. It's a dangerous mountain to climb. And because of the overcrowding, there is an excessive amount of garbage and human waste at camps, which is really gross. And it's like, Everest is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, so you want to keep that as clean as possible, you know? And then Everest, the climbing season is very limited, from a short window of April to May. And it's this short because the conditions that exist along the mountain, the best times to climb Everest are from this short window. Then I got a little YouTube video. Okay, so that was just a little video showing the traffic jams and like how crazy they can be. So this shows over like 300 people trying. This is the final summit of Everest. This shows over like 300 people trying to summit it. This was on a May day in 2019, and this is a joke. Like, look at all these people just standing there, like. They pay a ton of money to do this, and it's dangerous because this is like almost 29,000 feet. It's got a fourth of the oxygen that there is at sea level, and yeah, it's dangerous because it's super narrow, and you have people trying to go up and down at the same time. So there's just a lot of chaos here. And then this image just shows all the buildup of trash that can happen at camps, and it's just kind of sad to see because Everest, it's just beautiful, and then you got all this trash here. So some pros to adding limitations. So adding limitations such as like physical requirements for climbers, like they have to be like in shape and like ready to climb, and also having like a background knowledge of like mountaineering and like how to climb and like avalanche safety. So like setting these restrictions on climbers and also reducing the amount of permits, because the Nepal government has issued over 381 permits during the 2019 climbing season, and that's a lot. So adding these limitations would give a reduce in traffic jams. So of course a reduce in permits would mean less traffic jams, but also a reason that the traffic jams exist along the routes is because people don't know what they're doing or they're not physically fit, because the guides along Everest will take anyone up who pays the money. That's a big factor that goes into it. There would also be a possible decrease in deaths. If people know what they're doing, then people are more experienced and there's less chance that they'll die and they'll be able to make better decisions. And less people obviously means a less buildup of trash and waste at the camps. So some cons to adding limitations. So in the Himalayan mountain ranges lives the Sherpa people, and the Sherpas have been referenced to guides lately. But the Sherpas do anything from guiding people, cooking and cleaning along camps, setting up stuff along the routes. So, and the climbing season brings a lot of money into the Nepal and Chinese governments and the Sherpa people as well. And so some cons to adding limitations would result in millions of dollars lost by these governments, and the Sherpa people would be without a job during the climbing season. So a little more info to that. So this year, due to the coronavirus, the 2020 climbing season was canceled. So the government of Nepal lost $4 million in permits alone, and the mountaineering industry in the region brings in about $300 million annually. So all that money was lost just due to the coronavirus. And the Sherpas can earn up to 10 grand or more should they summit. So there's a lot of money behind just climbing Everest and the money it brings in. And it was seen with a temporary closure, a lot of money was lost. So that is a negative effect of what a permanent closure could do, or setting other limitations. So my opinion, so I really like to hike peaks with my friends. That's me on top of Twin Peaks. So I do not think a permanent closure on Everest is what is needed, but I do believe that some certain limitations are necessary, such as a physical requirement that climbers need to be in shape, like have hiked previous peaks before, have previous mountaineering knowledge, and as well as know what they're doing, just not physically but like mentally. They have a good understanding of how the mountain works, how to rope up and use ropes and everything. And also I think, and since the climbing season is so short, an extension of the climbing season just for like 2 weeks into June, that would like allow more climbers to come through for less overcrowding. So that's basically my solution to just climbers need to know what they're doing. They need to be physically fit, and this would allow the Sherpas and the governments of Nepal and China to still get revenue from this. It would still allow people to climb Everest while being safe to do so. And that's my presentation.